You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Welcome back to the Code Rad Show, my dear viewers, your source for disordered ramblings about forgotten TV shows. This week, we have something very special for you. I feel like I must have manifested this. If there was ever a topic custom designed for Code Rad, it is the Japanese television adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's Shadow Over Innsmouth. First, though, let's... there we go. Let's talk about my comic book, Interplanet Volume 1, available on Fund My Comic. My window is blocking the link there, but if you are really interested in getting Interplanet or even just checking out some of the artwork, you can find it very easily on Fund My Comic. And also on Amazon, my collection of short stories of cosmic horror, Tales of Conspiracy and Madness. So, imagine my delight when I found that there had been a Japanese adaptation of one of the most famous H.P. Lovecraft stories, Shadow Over Innsmouth. It popped up on my YouTube feed. This is the type of thing that I imagine finding in a table of VHS tapes at a horror convention in the 90s. I used to order VHS tapes by the pounds from, there was one place based in Oxnard, California called Video Junkie, and they had all these European bootlegs, horror movies like Jean Rollin, The Living Dead Girl, stuff like that you could not get any other way back in the day. And I would imagine finding this version of Shadow Over Innsmouth at a from a place like that, but I don't recall ever seeing this. And this is our main character in this version, Takuyoshi, I believe is how you say his name. He is a photographer for a magazine. Rather creepily, we see his father has passed away. As a good thing about a show with subtitles like this, we get to see some of the ominous dialogue. This is a minor character. This is Takuyoshi's boss at the magazine, kind of an odd-looking gentleman. But then you realize, wait a minute, this guy looks like H.P. Lovecraft. Pretty cool. So they decide they need to find a topic for next magazine. I believe it's the next issue. I believe it's a travel magazine. And so you're thinking, what sort of place, what kind of activity might, get people to buy the magazine? What are people looking for? Well, look no further than bizarre corpse washes up at Innsmouth Bay. Well, that is going to have to be the angle we're going for in our new article. So our main character heads straight up to Innsmouth to find out what's the scoop about bizarre corpses and whatnot in this quiet little town on the Japanese coast. So Takuyoshi takes a train up to Innsmouth and sees the greatest sign of all time. I cannot imagine anything cooler than this. Of course, Arkham, Dunwich, Kingsport, all locations of H.P. Lovecraft stories. Kind of odd names for places in Japan and never explained. Although I believe they pronounce Innsmouth in this adaptation as, I forget, Insomosu, I believe is how they say it, which is pretty cool. So that is the Japanese version of Innsmouth. So this is the train station, and you can see this is a very low budget shot on video adaptation. The train station, The bus, everything looks pretty much like a regular Japanese train station, Japanese bus. The town looks like a Japanese town, not like the completely dilapidated, swaying to the point of just like falling down fishing village Lovecraft described in the story. There is this mysterious looking lady on the bus that our main character has to take into town. But before he can sit next to her, talk to her, anything, he's got to deal with a surly bus driver who tells him he's got to pay his bus fare first. Now, I remember I spent a year in England as a graduate student, and I remember thinking, in my experience, English bus drivers were among the worst people I had ever met. I tried to empathize with them. It must be a hellish job, rude customers, horrific traffic. So I could, but I cannot imagine Japanese bus drivers would be this rude. This guy is, though. So he kicks Tokuyoshi off the bus. So that gives him an opportunity to sit on the bench and talk to this fellow for a little bit, who shares this ominous bit of dialogue. That place is dead, I tell you. You can only imagine what place he must be talking about. This is not, looking up. This is not very optimistic. However, things are about to change pace, because as Takayoshi is sitting there on the bench with this creepy old man, this woman, who does not look very Lovecraftian, pulls up in her station wagon and says, "Guess what? I'm making a round trip to Innsmouth. Join me in 5 minutes." She, now, when I was doing research for this, I found a pretty awesome website called Tokyo Scum Brigade, which had an excellent article about this show. And the author discusses how they changed the theme of the story when they did this adaptation, whereas Lovecraft's story was about mixing of genes and races, miscegenation, things like that, intermarriage. This version of it, this TV adaptation, changes it to more of the theme to more of rural folk leaving their small towns and going to the big city. Our main character is an example of that. He works in Tokyo. Our lovely car driver discusses how she left, but then kind of came back, which is a phenomenon in Japan. People leave the cities, some come back, some halfway come back, like our driver. And so that kind of becomes the new theme of our show, something that is relevant to current life in Japan. A lot of small rural towns are in danger of disappearing as the population ages out and dies, and all the young people move to Tokyo or another big city. So shout out to Tokyo Scum Brigade. Very interesting website. It looks like they have a whole section devoted to Lovecraft on there. I'm looking forward to checking out that website more deeply. So our photographer does eventually make it to town, checks into a hotel, as you might expect, meets some weird people. At night, he takes a walk on the beach and sees a ritual being performed in a cave on the beach. We get a very, very brief glimpse of the people inside the cave. Pretty awesome. Luckily, we will get some better looks at the residents as they assume their true form in the town. Takoyaki meets up with this mysterious woman again, and just as things are getting romantic, there are these guys looking in all the windows, which is that scary? Is that super cool? Does that enhance the mood? I don't know. It ruins the mood for Takoyaki. So he runs out of the house just as things are heating up and meets that crazy old guy again. Now, he wasn't crazy before, but now he looks pretty bad. And Takayashi kills the old man right there. He's pretty hyped up between the romantic interlude with a mysterious woman and then seeing the frog fishman looking in the window. Just flat out kills this guy. So I would like at this point to say that this adaptation is very faithful to Lovecraft's original story. I mentioned they change up the themes a bit. I don't recall a scene like this where our main character kills an old man. If you remember the themes of the, the basic plot twist of Shadow Over Innsmouth, you might guess who this guy is, even though he does not appear in the original story. You might even be able to guess who that lady is, even though there's no character like her in the original story. And when we see the old guy again, he looks like this, because after all, what is dead cannot truly die. He comes back, shouting the name of his... I'll leave it blank there. You can guess who this old guy really is. There's a nice little stinger at the very end that will not shock anyone that read the story, but I think would probably be a little bit confusing for anyone who hasn't read the story. So you could see the makeup is what it is. Either I'm sure some people would find it horrible. Some people will think it is great. Some people will think it's great because it's hilarious. Some people will think it's just great because it is. Not every creature in this story has makeup quite this awesome. But as I mentioned before, it's a very low budget shot on video show. It seems like before I discovered it, when I first discovered it, it seemed like a total rarity. Now, of course, there's a large footprint. This has a very large footprint on YouTube. A lot of people have seen it. A lot of people have reviewed it. I would say back in the 90s, I don't remember any sign of this at all. There must have been some VHS tapes circulating here and there. But I hope some of my viewers out there would think that this is completely awesome and will seek it out. I purposely left the watermark down in the corner, toy video. I believe that is the organization who subtitled it, cleaned it up. I'm sure videotapes that were circulating probably were not in the best condition. The picture, for what it is, a 30-plus-year-old TV show shot on video, it's pretty awesome. It's an awesome experience if this is your thing. Longtime viewers of the channel will know that I reviewed a manga version of Cult of Cthulhu. Japanese interpretations of Lovecraft stories will never not be awesome. And so I will leave it there. Everyone, thank you for joining me. We'll be back soon. Just me, as far as I know, unless maybe I can find a co-host to join me. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.